College with ADHD, it's not just about staying on top of classes. It's about managing everything that comes with your life on your own.
That's why we created our college coaching program to give students the tools and strategies that actually work for the ADHD brain.
All right, Nikki, what does that support look like?
It starts with our roadmap planning package, 2 powerful strategy sessions before the semester starts. We'll set up a personalized calendar, break down long-term projects, and design systems that match how you naturally work. It's perfect if you like to run with a plan once it's built.
Okay, but what if you need more ongoing support?
That is our weekly coaching package. It's weekly one-on-one sessions throughout the semester where we help students stay on track, work through roadblocks, and build confidence week by week. It's accountability without the pressure.
So if you or someone you love is heading to college with ADHD,
come check out our coaching options at takecontroladhd.com/college. Let's set you up for success from day one.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back, or welcome again, I guess, because this is the 5th bonus installment of an email challenge that we began over a year ago, March 2024, and I am here with my very good friend and co-host, Pete Wright. Hello, Pete Wright.
Hello, Melissa. I am thrilled to be here talking about email with you again.
Are you sure? That sounded a little lackluster and a little AI-ish. Did AI give you that answer and you were reading it?
That's it. This whole thing, I am a bot, and I have been trained only on email episodes that we've done. This ought to be interesting.
2.0.
I am actually really excited to be here because I think you said we've actually done email series before that. I found an earlier email series that we did. We've talked about email a lot, and it seems like, I think the reason you're hearing that in my voice is it seems like this should be solved by now. Why are we still talking about email?
Well, I think because if you're listening to this, it's a good chance you have ADHD, as Pete and I both do, guilty as charged. And we like repetition before we finally get it.
Mm-hmm.
And whether we would prefer that way or not, because we wish we could just get it on the first go around to be done. But also, email is not something that is static or stagnant. It is constantly changing, evolving, growing, and we have to try and grow and evolve along with it, or we end up running into a lot of these repeat offenses of, I won't even call it an offense. That sounds really awful, but just repeat occurrences of things that you would rather not have your email be or do.
Right.
And it's always good to do a bit of a refresh. But you're right. We have been doing this for a long time. I was listening back to our ones from last year, and I happened to mention at that point that our first one was in 2018.
Wow.
It was almost 7 years ago because it was December of 2018. And then we did it again a year later in 2019.
So you're hearing this. We're releasing this to the public. This is, even though the original email series, it was all done for our Patreon members, we're releasing this to the public because we're talking about the latest stuff that we're discovering and learning about email. And plus, we've been on hiatus for our summer break, and we're about to come back with the regular show, the ADHD podcast. So we're excited about that. I'm so excited. So yeah, I mean, you'd think I forgot how to podcast. And so this will be a grand experiment to make sure that we have some runway. But also, it's who are we kidding? It's a little bit of a tease. If you're interested in what we're talking about now and would like to hear how we started, we encourage you to visit patreon.com/the ADHD podcast. Sign up, join the community. You get into Discord. There are over 1,000 people in our Discord server right now who are just, hanging out, learning to live and love their ADHD. I don't know, that may be a bold claim, but it's a great, great community, and we love everybody in there. We'd love you to check it out. If you haven't already, water's warm, check it out, patreon.com/the ADHD podcast. And now, email.
As you mentioned, this is a public episode for all of our listeners versus our Patreon supporters, which The first 4 episodes that we just rebroadcast from last year were sent out again to our Patreon supporters. But just to give everyone who may not have listened to those an idea of where we started this and how we're getting to where we are now, we just wanted to give a quick recap of, we did 4 episodes last year. We started in the first week with, what do you want from your email? And how do you want to use it? And we also had like a little quiz to learn your email personality, whether you're a hoarder or an avoider, or Pete's favorite, the stage 3 clinger. You actually said that in the episode. That was your favorite because it reminded you of MASH.
It does. It reminds me of MASH. And we're all like, we all go through that phase. If you're not in it right now, you know what it means to be a clinger, to save everything, to meticulously file, to never let go of email.
Yeah.
You know who you are. And we've all been you. Yeah.
That's the biggest thing, is we've all been there.
Yeah.
So you're certainly not alone. The second week, we talked about the responsibility of having an email account and using it, because it can be very powerful. And a lot of times being on the sending end, almost kind of like social media, it doesn't always feel like you're truly talking to a person. And so maybe you feel you can be a little bolder or say things you wouldn't actually say to someone's face. And we have to realize that these things are going to other people's faces, and their feelings and emotions. And so we need to remember things like etiquette and how you're replying, things like that. The third week, Pete was actually not part of. It was me and Nikki. And Nikki was sharing the ins and outs of her favorite email triage system, which is known as the email stack method. Highly recommend to look it up. There's a few videos you can check out and learn what it's all about. And then the last week, we were talking about how to kind of boost your email to the next level, different shortcuts, templates, AI, and really to get the most out of how you use your email, whatever it is that you use. And so now we get to where we are now.
Yes. Where are you now? I sense the silence. There's a baited silence that is about to be broken. And I worry that it's going to be broken with shame.
You are the baiter. I'm the baitee. Because you already know.
Yeah.
Because we share the same outline of notes. So you are already aware. Okay. So, full disclosure, I actually, when I listened back to the first week's episode of last time, I had said that I had 1 email in my inbox. A single email, Pete. Only 1. I cannot say that this time.
How many do you have in
there? So I will say that the little red indicator that tells you how many for my personal email has gone to the 999 plus, where it stops telling you how much. And at that point, I think we all can agree when it gets to that plus, we just forget it exists.
Okay.
And actually, I just look at the total number and it's much higher than I thought it was. So it's at 9,609.
Okay. Now, let me just say, I had a gasp of shock. And I feel like I need to explain that, because if you don't know, that might come off as a shame experience. It's not. The shock is legitimate because I know how attuned you have been to email in the past. And so the shock is just that difference is big. That's what the shock is. But I want to add, and I think this is important, if your email is working, this has been our mantra all along, it doesn't matter how many emails you have in your inbox. It doesn't matter what's on the badge. This is a shame-free zone, and it's okay if your email is working for you. Then you don't have anything to worry about by keeping all your email in your inbox. That's okay. It really is. I am just shocked because that must be hard for you to internalize, given where you've been with your email. How do you feel?
Yeah, it really is. And you say this is a shame-free zone, and I'm going to assume that means there's no shame coming from you. It is much harder for them not to be, much harder for me not to have shame coming from myself, especially
Yes.
knowing where I was just over a year ago with one single email in my inbox. I have 3 inboxes, just so we're aware. I have 3 separate email addresses. However, there is one that I've kind of stopped using as much, and so that may be something to address as well. But
Yeah.
my 2 primary are my personal email address and then my work email address. And I am constantly my work email address and spend a lot of time there. And what's funny is there used to accidentally be one set of emails for work that was still being sent to my personal email address. We fixed that. And so I no longer had a need to go to my personal email inbox to find those work emails.
So you just ignore it.
And so I kind of just forgot about it.
Yeah.
And while for some, that may not be a big deal, if you're not getting a lot of stuff personally to your email, but I have a son who is in a lot of things, and we get a lot of parent emails sent out. And luckily, for some reason, they're also being sent to my mother. And so she always asks, "Did you get that email?" I'm like, "Oh, no, didn't even know it came. So thank you." But there have been things that have gotten missed or that I, didn't even know existed because I had gotten to a point when it hit that 999 plus. I was like, okay, it's avoidance time. Turtle in the shell, ostrich in the sand. I don't even want to look at it because a lot of the emails are just garbage.
Yeah.
All these stupid, marketing things and things like that, because they always try to bait you in by just give your email address and we'll give you this free thing or let you in to look at this. And you're like, okay, well, that's easy enough. And while it's easy in the moment, it is not easy in the long run.
Yeah.
Because they, a lot of times, are relentless with the emails they send you. And so I would say a good 80 to 85% of the emails in my inbox, my personal inbox, are junk.
Yeah.
But the problem is there are very important emails mixed in there.
Yes.
That I need to be able to see and recognize. And because I had just gotten to a point where I had ignored it for so long, when I realized it, it was easier just to continue to ignore it and pretend it didn't exist and just hope someone would say something if an important email was coming through. And that is not a good way to manage your email.
One of the things that we talked about in the past was this, the line that you walk around whose job it is to determine if an email is worth responding to, right? And we said on the show, it's your job as a recipient. You get to decide if an email is worth responding to, right? Somebody just gets to takes 3 seconds for somebody to lob an email over the transom into your inbox that may take you a half hour to respond to. And that's an unfair power dynamic, right? And
Absolutely.
that's the peril of email. But it's also your responsibility as an adult living in a society to keep up with things like, oh, I just got an email from the water company telling me they're going to shut off my water if I don't pay the bill. That's your responsibility too. And
100%.
I recognize that there is a bucket. I also have a bucket with thousands of emails in it that are not people. And occasionally I have to scan that box. And we're going to talk a little bit about some of the new tools that we've been playing with, because this really is an opportunity for AI to do some work on your behalf and help you wrangle with your email situation. And it could be a real opportunity to find the diamonds that you have to respond to, that you have a responsibility to respond to. So that's coming.
I am definitely looking forward to that. I think one of my biggest self-imposed stumbling blocks with even tackling this is how to untangle the giant mess of junk versus important,
Mm-hmm.
and how to create new systems that can recognize that for me and just
Mm-hmm.
automatically funnel the junk where it needs to go. I mean, if there are 20,000 emails in there and it is all junk, perfect. I don't care. But I need to be able to find the important things when they come. And I think I have gotten it in my head that it's going to be an insurmountable hurdle to try and create those workflows to make that happen, especially when I'm already in the weeds. So
Right.
I'm definitely looking forward to hearing some of these new systems. And I am looking forward to finally tackling this crazy, crazy inbox.
Let's just look at a few of the things that we didn't solve last year, but really we still should. And I guess I'll start because it sounds like you really didn't. I don't mean to laugh at your expense.
You're so funny. You're so funny.
Well, because my first bullet on the things that I've been thinking about is that, I mostly triage email. That's one of the things that I've been proud of that I do almost every day, but I haven't really solved it because I still get the 4 p.m. panic, right? At the end, as the day is coming to an end, and I've been working and shipping things that I promised to do for people. And then it's 4 p.m. and I'm back in my inbox and I realize it's overwhelmed because of just the day's activity. And I haven't even looked at it. Sometimes I just give up on the day. I'm just like done.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even look at it. And that means I come back in the next morning and I start with a feeling of anxiety because of even yesterday's email that I didn't address. That's a thing that I feel like I've unsuccessfully, I say this is unsuccessful. It is inadvisable for me to associate quite so much emotion with the act of email. Email should be an emotion-free experience. I'll do it faster if I don't feel good or bad about it. If I'm indifferent, I'll just go through it really quickly. And sometimes I have that back of mind, like, what if this email is something terrible? And that causes friction to the point where sometimes I'll skip the process of moving from triage to action, right? Of taking email and creating a task out of it and thoughtfully scheduling it for later. And so that's, I just have to own that and recognize that that's a hard thing for me. And it's going to take sort of a higher calorie burn for my brain to do it. Like it just is. I need to be more zealous about protecting that time from 4 to 4:30 where I muscle through the communication of the day and just create tasks. Don't respond. Don't feel like there's a bunch of emotion to it. Just say, hey, keyboard shortcut, create new task with the email attached to it, and then know that that's scheduled for me to do later. Because right now it can be very weighty.
Does it have to be done at that 4 o'clock time? I understand that's like end of the workday, but like, do you feel that because it's end of the day stuff that you're already spent from the day and you just don't have the spoons left to even handle it sometimes, and so you skip it?
Well,
and
sometimes.
if maybe there's another time that might work instead?
Well, here's the problem. I have explored other times, and the other time that I've really played with is morning, like come in early in the morning and just knock out sort of yesterday's stuff that I didn't get to. But I find that to be a disaster. I get so hyper-focused in the morning because my energy is higher that I'll start doing the work while I'm triaging. And
For sure.
I won't start my day until noon. Like I've lost half the day if I don't come in with at least a close to clean slate. And so that's like, this is a lesser of two evils. I recognize it's a thing I have to do, but the timing and doing it at the end of the day before it also makes good transition, like context shifting time. If I'm doing it well and consistently, it's easier. right? It's easier to do if I do
That's
it
true.
every day than it is when I start skipping days and I get behind. And right now, I'll just give
Right.
you a state of the union. For me, there is a project. This is in all candor, my shame project. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 emails from January from a client asking me to help with a thing that I have partially done. And those emails are just sitting there waiting for me to do in my inbox. That is so antithetical to how I live my life. But this was like a lower priority project, and it just was easy to continue to kick down the field. And I had this client is 87 years old or 91 years old now, and is like, I'm kind of running out of time
I
to
was
get
going to
the
say, I feel
project
like maybe
done.
the time is
Yeah.
ticking on this project.
And I just need to get it done. And that just stares at me every day I open my inbox. That's a clogging thing. Like we talk about friction and clogging tasks. And this is a clogging task that I know when I do it will unleash waves of new productivity that are sitting behind that wall of clogged shame. And
Yeah.
I just, there are all kinds of reasons it hasn't been done yet that are all frankly excuses. So apart from that, there are a couple of emails that, because we'll talk about the tools in a minute, but the email clients that I'm using will group by month. And so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things from May that I've looked at and need to just check off. They're not big projects. 2 from June, 4 from earlier this month, and 4 from the last 7 days, including today. So it's not in terrible shape right now. Like I really am largely in control, as I would expect of myself. But that January thing is just a wall of nastiness in my head. You talk about the language we use to talk about our own efforts. Like I am a real meanie when I think about this in my head, right? Real meanie.
Don't be mean to Pete.
Such a mean girl. That's who I am. My head voice is a mean girl. Anyway, so the other piece was like looking at alerts to remind you to prompt your daily review. That actually is largely working for me in spite of all the things, the little hiccups that I just described. I'm still getting through kind of the day's activity. I'm able to muscle through that. How are you doing on some of these other issues around friction right now? Like if you get rid of the personal inbox challenges that you're having, what's your processing scope looking like right now?
I do a lot of my triaging in the morning just because I feel like it helps me to build how the rest of my day is going to go. Mm-hmm. If there are things that need done that day or if it can be, pushed to later. I also, technically, I have to think too about the emails and correspondence that we get from Take Control through the website and things that I'm on a timer where we, pride ourselves in making sure we get back within 24 hours of the comment coming in when possible. And so that is something that then takes precedence over pushing it back. Like that's something that needs to be added to that schedule that day. And so I need to make sure that gets added in as well. And so a lot of triaging in the morning. And I will then go back to my email about halfway through the day and see what has come through. I try not to live in my email inbox. I will minimize it. It's at the bottom of my screen. I don't have notifications on. I learned that a long time ago, actually, from this cool little podcast called Taking Control, the ADHD podcast. And it really changed how I interact with my email. But I would say I also suffer from that leaving things in your inbox that you are procrastinating on.
Yeah.
Because you are forced to look at it every day.
Yep.
So it's almost like we're trying to motivate ourselves to get it done by that constant reminder. But the problem is the longer it sits there, the easier it is for it to fade into the background because it's always there.
But I just realized the challenge that I'm having with this stack of January emails. It's because there's a stack of January emails. And part of the thing that overwhelms me in the back of my mind is I have to go parse every one of them to make sense of what the actual project is. And that's friction for me. And that's the stumbling block. If it's just one email, I have a keyboard shortcut that sends a task, lets me create a new file dated scheduled task in Todoist with the email attached to it. And I know when that's going to come hit me again because I've been thoughtful about it, right? And that's my workflow, is be super thoughtful about the new work that comes in via email. And this is an example of if the workflow fails at all, it causes this sort of cascading set of failures, right? This cascading like avalanche of missed actions. And that's just something that I think maybe some new tools will help me figure out how to actually get to the bottom of it. And I'm really excited about it. I think this is a really awesome time to be an email user, frankly.
I will say, with the whole friction thing, and you had mentioned about just a keyboard shortcut that will automatically send it into your task manager, schedule it, put it in the right place. I feel like that is a huge way to reduce the friction and the number of times you are touching something before you're actually getting the work done.
Yes.
So when you're triaging your email, I know we have a lot of people that will put them into categorized buckets just to clean out the inbox. And they have folders that say, there's a task related, or they need to respond, or research, or file away. And then from there, we'll schedule time to go back in and either move them to a task list or perform the tasks.
Yeah.
And while this may be super helpful to cleaning out the inbox and prioritizing what needs done, I feel like that can also be a hindrance because that's more times that you're touching the email before you're actually doing what needs done.
100%.
And just that act alone of like categorizing that email and physically moving it into a different folder can sometimes trick your brain into thinking you already did it.
Yeah. Yes.
Because you've already planned the task in your head and what needs done, and you're setting it aside to do later, but your head has already done the work.
Yeah.
Theoretically. Right. And sometimes it's like when you're like, I could have swore I texted you back. And it's in a draft somewhere where you started it, or like you looked at it and you had a response in your head, but never actually sent it or typed it out. And I feel like it's the same thing where when you're touching it too many times, it's feeling like work and you're spending the time thinking about it, but not actually doing it. But in and of itself, that can feel like you've already done it. And so I think a lot of times we then forget to even go back to that list because it feels, I already did it. In my head, it's already done.
Right.
And
I think this is the challenge between like what happens. And I can't believe we've made it this far and not use the words inbox versus workbox. Right. One of the things that we're describing is that I spend so much time in my workbox, which is the collection of tools around actually doing the work, Todoist and Fantastical for me, that I spend less time in my email. Because I'm spending less time in my email overall, I'm not looking at the things that I have previously, filed away or, did the stack method stuff or these 7 emails from January, because I never put those in to my workbox. They're just sitting there in my inbox and I don't look at my inbox. I just feel about it. And that's not a good place to be. All of this is, I acknowledge, it's a me problem. And this is going to be like just talking about it. This is going to be the thing. I'm clearing out that January messages. I'm getting it a well orchestrated project in Todoist so I don't have to feel this way anymore. That's my
I'm super
pledge.
excited for you for that.
Ugh, it feels gross.
Yeah, I think, well, and I think that is where the, I would keep saying stumbling block, but like where we keep hitting a wall is where we've already touched these emails, in some cases more than once, and we forget that those tasks need to be moved to the place where we do the work in our workbox. And so I think trying to find ways to reduce the friction, reduce the number of times you are touching that email. And like you had mentioned with keyboard shortcuts, you hit a couple of keys and you can easily set up a sequence in your subject line that your task manager will read and file away appropriately in that task manager. So I highly recommend whatever, if you're using digital, whatever task manager you're using, many, if not most or all of them, have some sort of way that you can move emails directly into tasks. And look into that. Do a little research and even write down a list of those keyboard shortcuts and kind of code that you can put in to make sure it goes where it needs to go, and start to get those into your fingers so it becomes a little bit easier as you continue to practice.
For sure. Okay, so tools that change the game. Okay.
What game are we playing?
We're playing the email game. Have you played?
I'm not very good at it.
Any AI tools in your email?
Not in my email. I'm curious about them. I would say that I am a novice AI user. At first, I was jaded because I do a lot of writing in my job, and there are many that feel that AI is stealing jobs. I have since changed that feeling, and I have used AI on occasion, and I am open and optimistically curious to what email AI might be able to do for me.
Well,
or anyone.
I'll just tell you right now, AI is coming to every email app, right? Like if you're not on the Spark, if you're using Spark, the Spark plus AI beta is doing some incredible things with being able to interview your inbox, right? Being able to interview your archive of email. It's kind of extraordinary, but it's not released yet. I'll tell you what is interesting to me on the True Story Gmail account. We use Google Workspace for True Story, and all of our accounts have been upgraded to whatever their business plan is, and that includes Gemini. Gemini is Google's AI of choice. I can go into the Gmail app, the actual native Gmail app, and I can say to Gemini, hey, give me a summary of the most important things in my inbox. And it gives me a summary. It says, here's a summary of the most important things in your inbox right now. You have an email from Gemini with notes from a meeting on July 21st about a podcast concept. Here are the next steps with a couple of bullets. Sally forwarded an email from Squarespace saying that her domain expired and wants to know if that's correct. The Crawl Space crew sent you an estimate for the work going on in your house. You received a welcome letter from Raul Vora of Superhuman, and this PR company sent you a production schedule and wants to know if you want to schedule any invites. Everything else in your inbox appears to be a marketing email.
What?
You okay?
I want to go. I want to go talk to Gemini right now.
Yeah. This is not about AI taking jobs or writing emails for you. And that's what I want to get to, because a lot of people, like the first thing you think about with AI is it going to, are we asking everything to write for us? And sure, those tools are there. But being able to integrate into the tools that you use and find things for you, find these gems for you, are really, really interesting. I am not a native user of the web app for Gmail, but this is pretty provocative. This makes me want to think, what else could I ask Gemini? It's always sitting there in a sidebar, and I
Right.
just ask it stuff about my email, and it's incredible. It's incredible what it's capable of.
I mean, it
And
basically
this is
did
the worst.
triaging for you.
Yeah, this is the worst the tool is ever going to be, and it's already mind-blowing, right?
Amazing.
I know. I love doing these with your face, because your face is exactly why I show up for these emails, these email episodes.
Oh,
So
I'm sorry. Nobody else can see my face, but it is very emotive because I am
Yeah.
shocked. Because in my head, I'm like, how does it know what's important to me? I didn't say anything to it. Because I'm assuming you don't have to like set up parameters.
Nope.
It just freaking knows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, you can effectively, like, what is the promise of this? The promise of this is you can say, like, give me a list of all the emails that require a response today. And it'll just show you, like, you need to respond to this from this person, this from this person. And then at the bottom of the response, it has a little sources window that you can open up that has a direct link to the actual email for you to click on and respond to. So it just automates the stuff that it appears to be most important. Now, I know somebody's going to be out there saying, probably many of you who are saying, but what if it makes a mistake? Of course. That's why you're called the human in the loop. You're the hill. Human or hiddle. You're the hiddle. Right? The human in the loop, because it can't function without your brain. Like, you still have authority and accountability over the system. But this is like a much better wrench in your tool set than you've ever had before. So that's just in basic Gmail. Like, that's in Gmail with Gemini turned on. And I actually haven't tested like just the basic gmail.com addresses. Like, to what degree do you have to update or buy an AI add-on plan for gmail.com addresses? You might have to subscribe to something like that. For the workspace accounts at our level, it's included, and we're playing with that. And let me just tell you, as a sidebar, we just did this. I think you'll appreciate this. We just did a migration from Dropbox to Google Drive. And
we did, yes.
For years, we have used Dropbox links to all of the transcripts of all the episodes. There's a text file in a folder. The folder has hundreds of text files in it, but all those were moved to Google Drive. I figured out a way using Gemini in the Google Sheets app to say, hey, Google Sheets, look at this drive in Google Drive and give me a list of all of the public Google Drive sharing links to each of the files in this folder, and make that a spreadsheet that you can then copy and paste into Coda for our use. Now, that would have, in the past, would have taken me hours upon hours to copy and paste 600 transcripts links. But now I did it in about 35 seconds. That's AI teaching us, like, working for us. That's just machine learning, figuring out how to do things
that's
better.
the thing too. I think that you were saying you weren't sure if it was something like you had to purchase to add on for the like personal Gmail accounts, but usually those add-ons are not that expensive, whether it's monthly or annually. And think of all of the time that you saved.
Right.
That in and of it, I think that pays for itself with that one project.
And hours of time saved.
So much. And we talk about reducing the number of clicks. Like, how many clicks did you like?
Yeah.
It's mind blowing. And the amount of time that you saved, and especially those menial mind numbing tasks that just continue on forever, but they need done. And for something to easily take care of the hard part for you is huge.
one of the other tools, so I was talking about just Gmail, but one of the other tools that I just signed up for today, and you got to listen to me go through this process before we started recording, is an app called
break out your wallets.
It's an app called Superhuman. Superhuman is an email app that sits on top of Gmail you just Gmail or Microsoft accounts. I think those are the only two that it works with right now.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And you sign in, and it is billed as an app that's going to help you triage your email faster than any other app can help you triage your email ever before. And it's got a lot of AI built into it, a lot of smarts. And the first thing it did for me is it said, hey, you don't have to worry about your email archive. You can just ask AI for your email, questions, and we'll solve it. So let's just take your email and get you closer to inbox zero. Here's how we recommend you do it. Take everything from before this month and archive it right now. Just do it without even thinking about it. Just do it. And it's encouraging you to just archive. It's not going away. You can still find it. You can still ask AI and it'll find stuff for you. But you pull off the Band-Aid. Just rip it off right now and see that it's not that bad anymore. I did not do that because I'm very specific about what's in my inbox, but I thought it was interesting that was the first thing that it asked me to do was clean your inbox and make it more sane. From there, it offers the same keyboard shortcuts: E to mark as done and archive, or delete; H to set a reminder; C to compose; / to search, and then it has this command bar where you can set reminders and follow-ups for emails. It does appear to be very efficient. It is. It's for me. I just paid $30 for a month. It's $30 a month. If you have multiple people on a team, it goes down per user. So I think for a team of 5, it's $25 per user per month.
$1 a day. You can clean out your inbox.
That's kind of the pitch, right? For $1 a day, how important is your email to you? I don't think it's this important, but I'm going to use it for a week or two before I cancel the subscription, because I do think it's important to just see. The biggest problem I have with it is something that it cannot solve. There is no built-in integration with Todoist. It assumes you're going to live in your email. So you set a follow-up and it reminds you in Superhuman when there is an email follow-up to do. I can't take an email without using Todoist's forward this email to this email address, we'll create a task out of it tool, which I find incredibly clumsy and adds more friction, because then I have to go triage Todoist, which I don't want to do. Right. Mm-hmm. And so that's a thing that I think is going to keep me from using Superhuman writ large. It's a non-starter, but I am
You don't think they'll
interested.
add that?
There seems to be no indication that that's on the roadmap, at all. There are other integrations, but they're all HubSpot and Pipedrive and Salesforce and so this is very much a business-oriented, sales-oriented thing, to the point where if I'm looking at my inbox and I click on a message, and in the sidebar of Superhuman pops up their entire detail sheet, like their LinkedIn and their website and founder, transformative energy therapy, their business name and everything you want to know about this person, it goes out and finds based on their email address, which is amazing, unnerving.
I was going to say
incredible.
a little shady, but
you're just remember shady. There are people.
Obviously it's.
Yeah. It makes you wonder, what are people using this seeing about me? I don't know how to control this. It's out of my control what people see about me. So it just makes me think I got to get my house in order, make sure all my bios are updated, because people are learning about me because they're using tools like Superhuman. So that's Superhuman. I have not used the full features of it because it's been 45 minutes and it's still progress bar spinning, setting up AI. Like, we'll let you know when
Oh,
it's
wow.
ready. I think it's literally integrating my inbox or my entire archive of email so that I'll be able to interview it, like creating a language model about my email, which is crazy. So more to come on Superhuman. The other one I want
Well,
to talk about. Yeah, go ahead.
real quick, Pete, before you move on, the one thing that we had looked at when you first opened it was with those follow-up emails,
Mm-hmm.
where if you needed to follow up and send something, you could schedule it to do later. And when that time came, it would prompt you that you had scheduled to follow up on that email, and AI created the follow-up email already.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
all you needed to do was do a quick glance and make sure it says what you want it to say, make a few edits, and send it.
Yeah.
It's like having your own assistant, and you forwarded those emails and said, take care of this. And then they did on the time that you asked, and they all come back and they're all done and ready to go. And all you have to do is approve them and hit send.
Yeah.
And I love that so much.
It goes through and it says, hey, it uses AI to determine auto archive rules. So if it's marketing, news, a pitch, social media stuff, it automatically skips the inbox. It creates auto drafts, right? So for auto reminders, and when no date or time is specified, remind me in, you fill in the blank, how many days, and automatically add default reminder messages to all messages that need a follow-up or all messages with an external recipient. You can say only send, auto follow-ups on weekdays, and turn on auto drafts. Automatically draft a reply when a reminder returns and the message needs a follow-up. That's crazy. Auto labeling, auto everything. Like, it's just, it's very thorough.
It's the mecca of email clients.
Yeah, it really is.
They clearly have put a lot of work, time, and thought into creating this project.
Yeah.
And I understand why it costs what it does, because there is a lot behind it.
Yeah.
That they put into it.
Yeah. I think you're paying for a lot of AI work. You're paying for a lot of that server stuff, and you're paying for speed. Like, everything is optimized for speed of triage. And if you live in your inbox and you crave velocity, this kind of feels like magic. So it's Gmail sort of, but like bulletproof. So we'll see how it sticks. The other one, and I'm doing this because they reached out to us. This is Mailbird. Mailbird is another unified email client, originally for Windows, now for Windows and Mac, that pulls together all of your inboxes and sort of your productivity tools like WhatsApp and Slack and Google Calendar and Todoist into this single desktop interface. And we'd talked about it in the past on a past email, and they saw that podcast and they listened to it and they wrote us and they said, since then we've completely updated the app and we wonder if you give it another shot. And so I gave it another shot. And as of this morning, it won't load. It crashes repeatedly. I have a big Gmail account. Like, I have hundreds of thousands of emails in that account. And so when I try to log in to Mailbird, it chokes. I was able to log in with a small account, kind of a backup Gmail account that I have. And so I was able to test it with that. But if I can't log in with my primary email account because the app keeps crashing,
that doesn't
what am I going to do?
seem great.
Yeah, what's the point? So I did log in. I created a bunch of fake emails that I sent to myself, and I started trying to process them. And yes, all the keyboard shortcuts work, delete, like I can do all that. And then it gets confusing. So let's just say I want to take an email and create a task. There's an integration. You go into the integration setting and you say, turn on Todoist. And it turns on Todoist. And it opens a little sidebar where I can log into Todoist. And then I can see all my tasks. What would you expect me to be able to do then?
Add that email to your task list in Todoist.
Yeah. What would you try to do that?
Wait, what?
What would you actually do to try to add that task to Todoist?
Well, I would assume that there's, especially if you turn on the integration, that there would be a button that says add as task, or, a Todoist button, or
Mm-hmm.
like you could drag and drop something.
Mm-hmm. You have just said all of the right answers. And of course, none of them work. None of them work. It is a view and check off task only integration. You can't add tasks using this integration. And that was so jarring to me because I'm so used to Spark's integration, which is thorough, that I was like, this is, I don't know how to parse the thinking that goes into having an integration like this. I don't understand it.
So I feel like they are of the same mind as what you were thinking with Superhuman, is you are working out of your email inbox. And so all that is doing is reducing the number of windows you have open on your screen by not having to have Todoist open next to your email inbox.
Yes.
And so it's basically saying that your email inbox is a workbox.
Yes.
And incorporating your primary workbox of Todoist onto one screen.
The difference
That's
is
all I'm thinking.
it doesn't have any of the features that would make the inbox a workbox, right? It's very rough around the edges, around reminders and follow-ups and all the kinds of things that you want to see to make this thing a truly sort of thorough workbox replacement or integration.
Interesting.
And I find that I was just baffled. It also allows sidebars for things like WhatsApp. I was able to launch WhatsApp and I can have communication in WhatsApp. Like I can comment in chat threads right next to my email inbox in the same window. I don't understand. I don't understand the benefit of that because that's now integrating. If you work heavily in WhatsApp, and there are people who do, maybe that makes sense. But for me, having it as a separate app is really just fine. All the Google services you can actually work. It's essentially opening a web view of these other services inside of Mailbird. So when you click on the Google Drive, it just opens Google Drive with the mail sidebar down the side.
Sure.
So it just replaces the main interface of your email with exactly what you would see at drive.google.com. So some confusing integration, very sharp around the edges, and rickety. Like I can see there have been some major upgrades from the last time around, but after using it, I really struggle with its stability. And so I'm looking forward to, clearly thoughtful people working on Mailbird, really thoughtful people who want to create an alternative environment that really makes sense. And it's, for me, I can't justify it because there are so many tools that are so rock solid that actually complete the picture. And I going back to Spark, which we've talked about many times, all the keyboard shortcuts work. The integrations actually let you create tasks with pop-up windows that actually let you create projects and dates and everything you'd want for a task. So the next time you see that task is when Todoist tells you to do it. It's just really fast and friction light. The new senders feature in where it says, hey, you've never received an email from this person. Do you want to accept it or block it? And if you block it, you'll never hear from them again. That is huge for me. Huge, 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 because I get so many boneheaded cold podcast pitches that I cannot keep up with that I have to tell these people, stop. I just block because it never stops. It's automated, AI written slop, and I have to block it. So those kinds of things are very thoughtful in Spark, and so it's hard for me to imagine changing. And I know that the AI integrations that are coming are going to attempt to compete with what Gemini does in Gmail and what Superhuman does in Superhuman. So I'm very excited for the future. Because all of the stuff that you're talking about, being able to really filter, integrate the bogus stuff from the important stuff in a thousands large email inbox is possible with AI. with the new integrations, and it doesn't involve writing your email for you. That's great.
That actually brings me to the future of our email challenge. Again, we like our repetition and our check-ins, and I am determined to fix this. I have to.
Yeah.
I mean, I have important emails like for my son's 504, where I have to approve it and send it back for him to have an appropriate accommodations list for school. Like, that's super important.
That's pretty important.
And that gets sent to my personal email, and it's getting mixed in with like Nike ads and random spam. And so that's not okay. And that needs to be tackled. And so I have a plan, at least the outer workings of a plan. It will continue to grow, that I'm going to fix this, and I'm going to share my progress with our Patreon subscribers.
Excellent.
So, and then we are going to take all of that culmination, and we're going to come back with another follow-up episode during our winter break of the podcast. So in December, late December sometime, and let everybody know what we've tried. Because this is you too. I mean, I'm looking to hear that those January emails are gone.
Oh, for crying out loud. If they're still in there in December, I'm in trouble. Something else is very broken inside me.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Thinking. Plus, we're also, big on, we recognize time blindness and that things end up taking longer than they should. And while I should be able to theoretically clean this up in a couple of weeks, I also have other things to do, y'all, that are not spending, hours and hours in my inbox. So, but in the meantime, I am going to be posting some updates in our Patreon, kind of little update blogs, maybe a insight or two throughout this process over the next 5 or 6 months, that will go out to Patreon subscribers at the deluxe tier and up. So deluxe, supreme, and platinum. Awesome. And if you are listening to this and you are not currently a Patreon subscriber, this is a great time to get connected. This is just a very small part of everything that we offer for our Patreon members that continues to grow and evolve to be what you need it to be to help supplement your day-to-day with ADHD. And so I'm really excited about this, to kind of learn some new things. You've definitely talked about a lot that has opened my mind or given me hope. There's hope, Pete. I'm not hopeless.
Oh, there's totally hope.
I'm not hopeless.
Yep.
So for those that are already on Patreon, you can get excited for those intermittent updates from me specifically. I'll be posting them on Patreon. And then when we hit our winter break, Pete and I will be back with another update to let you all know how things are going. In the meantime, please feel free to share with us on Patreon and on Discord, or even through the website contact page. I already told you I check that every day. And let us know, where are your email pain points? How many emails are in your inbox? Does that matter to you? Nothing is off the table, and we would love to hear from you, because that's who we're doing this for, is for you guys. And so we'd like to know what resonates with you, and maybe some new things you'd like us to talk about that we might be able to bring up later on.
Perfect. And it's okay to share if your email game is not great. Our hope is the tools and strategies that we're talking about and exploring and practicing are giving you just some new things to think about and for your own inbox. You don't have to do everything. You don't have to try everything. But if there's one thing that you get out of these little updates, we want to hear it, because we're all learning. We're trying to raise all boats, y'all.
Email is not in charge of you. You are in charge of your email.
That's right. You're the boss. You're the boss.
Oh,
Who's the boss?
I like that.
You're the boss.
I'm gonna get a name tag that says I'm the boss.
You're the boss because it's your special
Not
day.
Tony Danza. It's me.
No, you're the boss. Yeah. Or Charles. Charles is in charge, but you're the boss. Okay. We got to go.